Hello all. Now let's go back to the second part of the 12th lecture. So the last time we met, we spoke about the non-ideal characteristics of the diode. That is a deviation from the ideal Shockley ideal diode characteristics, right? So the thing that we are going to discuss now is called as the high injection condition. We will discuss briefly where is the actual deviation from the assumption that was made by the ideal uh, diode equation derivation, and then we will see what happens when the assumption is violated, right? So let us once again look at the actual diode equation. We have J equal to J naught e power qv by kt minus 1, and J naught is basically q root of dp by tau p ni square by nd plus q dn by tau n ni square by na. Right? So the reverse saturation current depends strongly on the intrinsic carrier density, right, as well as the diffusion component. And we can see that we take only the diffusion current into the consideration, right? And that is because the entire derivation says or considers that the change in the majority carrier concentration is negligible due to the carrier injection from the other side. To repeat, let us say that we have a PN junction here with the depletion width somewhere here, right? The carrier density on the n side, the whole density on the n side, let us say is uh, Pn, right? And then it drops down like this. Similarly, the electron density on the p side goes down like this, right? But the actual density of um, holes on the p side and the density of the electrons on the n side do not largely change. This is reflected also in the Fermi level, right? So you have the electronic Fermi level being almost constant till the depletion width. This is EFN, and the whole Fermi level being constant almost till the depletion end of depletion width on the n side, right? And here it actually goes up, indicating that the actual hole density reduces. Similarly, here the Fermi level drops down to the intrinsic level, uh, so showing that the electron density reduces, right? And we also saw this relationship that the whole density at the edge of the depletion width. So we call this xn, right? P of xn is basically ni e power qv by kt, right? And it is this which led to the actual current derivation that we saw here. It is this boundary condition that you have so much hole injection from the p side which leads to the forward current as we saw before, right? Now let us look at what exactly happens and why under high bias conditions or under high injection what actually changes here. To do this derivation, let's once again remind ourselves the charge neutrality condition. Okay? So basically under equilibrium conditions you have n naught plus na minus is equal to p naught plus nd plus. Nd is the donor atoms and Na being the acceptor, ionized acceptors, right? And under non-equilibrium conditions as well, you have to remember that the actual material is always neutral or is assumed to be always neutral, right? So any change in the let us take this side, right, the p side. Any change in the electron under injection should also change the intrinsic carrier density, right? Similarly on the p side, right, any change in the p density should change the intrinsic n density as well, right? So it is these things which will change, but under low bias conditions the change in the carrier density is so small that uh, its impact on the majority carrier concentration is almost negligible, right? Let's see this. Okay, so under at any point in x, the P into N product, right, is basically equal to uh, Ni square e power EFN minus EFP by KT. We derived this equation a few times before, and it is true at the when for the at the far ends, right, where EFN and EFP are at the far ends. At any point in between, you see that you can have a sloping EFP here, EFN here, and you have a increasing slope EFN here, right? So the general condition for this equation is basically Pn is lesser than equal to Ni square e power EFN minus EFP by KT. But under certain conditions, so let us draw the low bias conditions first, and then go and look at what happens at high injection conditions. So I'm going to draw carrier concentration versus the distance. I'm going to draw, let us assume the case of a slightly asymmetric junction where you have P plus N junction, right? So we have very heavily doped P and a moderately doped N. So we have, let us take a P doping density of about 10 power 18, and let us take an N doping density of about 10 power 16. So this is a P plus N diode, and I have a junction between the two here, right? And the P density does not change till the N. Similarly, the N density does not change till the junction point. However, the minority holes here, right, it drops down like this. Similarly, the majority, you know what, I'm going to change the color. This is N PP, right, and this N drops down in the P side. Similarly, holes drop down on the N side, and you can see that the densities are so large, the majority carrier density are so large, and hence it does not largely change the majority carrier concentration. The minority carrier concentration is so small in comparison to majority, so it does not change, right? Now, if I have a heavy injection such that P in N junction is almost equal to almost equal to N, right? So basically, I have such, because I have a super heavily doped P, I can have an injection conditions where I have Pn almost equal to N, right? So under such conditions, it's easier to see. If I substitute this here, I have N into N, right? Because both of them being the same is almost equal to Ni square e power EFN minus EFP by KT, right? Basically, N square is Ni square e power EFN minus EFP is actually QV by KT. So the actual minority injection P in N is basically Ni e power QV by 2 KT. This can be contrasted with the original expression where P in the minority side is basically Ni into e power Q by KT, right? So this kinds of give you the feel why the actual current or the expression of log I is now or is proportional to basically QV by 2 KT, whereas for the ideal diode case is actually QV by KT, right? And this can be contrasted against the actual the non-ideal characteristics, where you can see that at high bias potentials, the current actually do not follow the ideal diode equation, but whereas it has a smaller slope than the ideal diode. and it is this which uses a slope of QV by 2 kT, right? Now let us draw the carrier concentration under high bias conditions. So let us say this is an example where the current is about 10 amps per centimeter square. Now the carrier densities for a high injection, let us take for about 100 amps per centimeter square. The same heavily doped P remains almost constant, right? But whereas the lightly doped N at the far end should still be NN, right? That is the doping density. But however, close to the junction, it should have a slight increase in carrier density, right? And this at the junction will drop, and then this will have a similar behavior. Whereas this P has a density which is similar or close to the values of the actual intrinsic carrier density. This is P in N, and this is N in N. Now, why does the N density, that is the density of electrons in N type, is even higher than the actual doping density Nd? So this here Nn is equal to Nd here, right? But whereas the Nn is little bit greater than Nd, close to the junction. Why is this true, or why it happens is because of the charge neutrality condition, right? So from this equation you can see if del P increases, right? So the actual carrier density del N should compensate with the same increase for the same increment, right, to give you charge neutrality everywhere, right? So if Pn increases as much as Nn, right, that is if the whole injection density is, so if del Pn is almost equal to Nn, right, so which will imply del Nn change in the majority carrier concentration to be almost of the order of the same of the order of Nn, right? So this causes a small or a significant small and a noticeable increase in the majority carrier concentration over and above the actual doping density under high injection conditions. Now you can also plot this at very high injections. So this is at about 10 power 3 ampere per centimeter square. So under such conditions you can see that your Pn is not largely affected once again, but whereas the N carrier density is strongly peaked. This is Nn, this is N in P, this is P in P, this is P in N. So you will have a significant rise in the majority carrier density close to the junction, right, over and above the doping density, right? However, the actual problem of high current injection does not stop with just the IV characteristics, right? You can also see it in the other effects, which is series resistance. The main assumption was that the entire potential which was applied to a PN junction appears across the depletion width, right, in the ideal Schottky diode conditions. However, that will change under these high bias conditions, right, because now that you have a heavy injection, the depletion is no longer strongly depleted, right, and hence the resistances are equally shared. You can see it, right? So basically, if I have a junction with three independent resistances, R1, R2, R3, if R1 and R3 is much smaller than R2, basically V1 and V2 is much smaller than V3 is much smaller than V2, right? Most of the potential drops across R2. However, If you have heavy injection, then R1, R2, and R3 are not so largely different. So the entire potential is distributed everywhere, right? So you almost have potentials even in the neutral region, right? And the potential in neutral region will cause the bands to bend. So the actual band structure in this heavy injection will turn out to look like this. Right? The valence band, let me draw with a different color. And the Fermi levels. So the slopes in the neutral region basically determines the series resistance losses. So basically the applied potential, only a part of it applies across the junction, and a part of it is lost uh, in the neutral series resistances, right? So this gives you a reason that you will not have the entire voltage apply across the junction to give you the exponential voltage dependence, and a part is actually lost in the series resistance, which is actually linear, right? Similar to any resistor, right? So these are the non-ideal high current injection conditions.